I want Trevor too. I want Trevor real bad, chat. I keep thinking about the other day I put this out here. Also, we don't need this. What's going on, everybody? Braden, how you doing? Braden, what's going on? Action, how are you? Merk, fellow from the UK. Wow, thank you for joining us this evening. Clip, so glad you're here. I love mid. I love the 2023 Red Sox. I wouldn't say we're mid. I'd say we're slightly above mid right now. Bucky, how are you, my friends? Murica, man, what's going on? I'm going to the game Sunday. Hope it's Bayo Bump Day and the return of Story. Won't be Bayo Bump Day, I don't think. I don't think they'll give him 4 days rest and then throw him out there again. But it could be the return of Trevor Story. Yeah, probably. I think it probably will be. What's up, Dylan? I think it'll probably be a bullpen game, Bucky. But hey, that doesn't mean you won't get to see Nick Pivetta. Doesn't mean you won't get to see Chris Murphy, who's been fantastic. Belgium. Natlis, thank you so much for hanging in here from Belgium. That is pretty impressive. Frosty, how are you? I feel like we haven't had a legit live stream in a while, chat. When was the last time we were live? We were live last week, right? Yeah, we had to have been live last week. It just feels like we haven't done this in a long time. Maybe we haven't done a true just hot stove, talk about Story coming back, who's going out, all that good stuff. Yeah, maybe that's why I feel like we haven't done this in a while, but it feels like this hasn't been done in a long time. It feels like this hasn't been done in a long time. Last was when the Sox swept the Braves. You know, I thought so. Yeah, because we did Wednesday. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, it has been a week, right? And then I was gone for most of the last week. And then, of course, yesterday's game's at 4:10. Oh, this is chat. I have been in a long-standing beef recently, especially on Twitter. I don't understand the vilification of Trevor's Story. Trevor did not come here and push Xander out of town, right? It was never Trevor's decision. It also really wasn't Trevor's fault that he got hit in the hand with a fastball or that his ligament gave out on him. Outside of that, right? Trevor, if he hasn't been outside of not being on the field as much as we'd like him to, there's no reason to put the I'm mad that Xander left hate on Trevor's Story. I hate that. I keep seeing that. But anyways, yeah, I put that out there and people are trying to dunk on me. Why has Story been so vilified? What's up, JB? Not that I wasn't targeting you, Murky Merc. I was just I love that name, by the way. I was just ranting about something that's been happening recently that I've seen, where a lot of people are like, I have so many comments of like, I have no faith in him. Yeah, again, Murky Merc. I'm not saying it was you. Your comment just reminded me of that. Yeah. Yeah, Clip, exactly. Albuquerque, New Mexico checking in. What's going on, John? Thank you for stopping by. Hey, bud, hope you're having a great day. I am, Jay. Thank you. I'm actually kind of nervous for tomorrow, actually. I'm getting my wisdom teeth out tomorrow. Hopefully I don't miss too many days of recording videos. I'm going to get one done tomorrow for tomorrow. Maybe I'll try and sneak two in before I leave. But either way, I'm doing all right, Jay. How you doing? You think we'll see Drohan this year? I think there's a small possibility. I don't think it's a very likely possibility. I think they'd have to get through I think one more rotational injury, maybe, right? But he's still adjusting to AAA a little bit. He has been fairly good recently, but he had a bit of a rough start in terms of Drohan. And I think that they're going to want him to develop and make sure that velocity stays up, make sure his control stays where it is, right? Because we need that command where it is if he's going to keep that velo up. Yeah, he's still at a 5.80 ERA with a 6.44 FIP. Yeah, I don't think he's ready for the bigs yet. But again, injuries may push him up, but I don't think we'll see him this year. I feel like the last second baseman we had was Petey. The last, like, true second baseman, yeah. From Brazil, what's going on, Reginaldo? Reginaldo. I'm so sorry I butchered that. What's up, Pac-Man? Poor Trevor's getting so much pressure, too. If he comes back and doesn't play well, everyone's going to hate him. Yeah, I know, Action. Here's what I'm expecting from Trevor Story, which, by the way, we're going to talk about today. I've seen it a couple of times when Story coming back. He's not coming back Friday. He probably won't be back this weekend. My guess, what's up, Prodigy, is that he will be back at the start of the National Series, which I think is the next series. It's the next series, not this series that they're playing tomorrow, which we will also talk about because it's one of the most crucial series of the year. It's Kansas City. I think he comes back on Monday. That's my guess. It could be Sunday, I think, at best case scenario, but I think they're going to want him to start against the Kansas City Royals. So that's my guess. What's up, Gavin? It was the Royals. I'm an idiot. I need Rafael up, man. Yeah, he's been going off lately. It'd be interesting to see. It's interesting to see, what... it'll be interesting to see when Rafaela becomes a factor. I don't know. I really don't. Because I don't know where you fit him in on this team. I think Trevor Story will be a part of the 2023 playoffs, but I also think the Red Sox making it requires collapse of other teams, honestly. I don't think so. The path to the playoffs for the Red Sox is really, really simple, right? Win 3 more games than the Blue Jays do the rest of the year. It's not a really hard decision to make, right? It's win 3 more games in the Blue Jays and you are in the playoffs. It's not like you have to rely on the Houston Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays diving, right? All you have to do is win 3 more games in the Blue Jays, and that is entirely possible. Bo Bichette is out right now. Jordan Romano's got back problems. He may be out for the rest of the year from what I'm hearing, right? This is not an impossible feat at all. To be fair, Yu Chang has done a pretty good job since he come back. Will be some good competition. There's going to be no competition, Marky Mark. Yu Chang's fine, but he gives you absolutely nothing offensively. Who do I think the September call-ups will be? It'll probably be a couple of... I bet it'll be that guy we got in the Kike Hernandez trade, and it'll probably be another reliever. I mean, the relievers have just been beaten this year, right? So I think it'll be 2 relievers. I don't think we'll see a position player. I mean, there's only 2 spots now, right? So it's going to be difficult for us to say, Rafaela deserves that spot over. We need to get innings from our bullpen to get to the playoffs, right? In my opinion, it's not the right year to bring Rafaela up unless you get an injury, right? Because if you bring Rafaela up, one, there's expectations to get Rafaela up in September, and there's expectations that immediately he's going to hit the ground running, and he's going to be a major factor for the playoff push, right? That's going to be a really difficult thing to sell to a playoff contender, especially if they're only 2. Say they're in a playoff spot right by the time September comes, right? You got to maintain that playoff spot. Having a guy like Rafaela where you're going to try and play him every day, you want to get him as many at-bats as possible, you want to get him acclimated to Major League Baseball, there's probably going to be, look at Casas' first year in the big leagues, right? There was a big adjustment period. Masataka Yoshida, who played professional baseball for 5, 6, 7 years before he came over here, had an adjustment period, right? Right now we don't have the room to fit Rafael and allow him to make those adjustments while also trying to push towards a playoff spot. You don't want to do that to a young kid like this. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that to a kid who you have high expectations for, because he's going to get crushed if he doesn't come up here and is insane. Did I just hear a competition from Story and Chang? Yeah. Story expected to play on Friday. He is not expected to play on Friday. He's not going to play on Friday. He will probably play. We talked about this a little bit Monday. I'm going to put my bets on Monday. There was no confirmation yet, but it seems like they're not going to try and push him for this weekend. So my guess would be Monday. Story will be a full-time shortstop. There's no question in my mind. I see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, why is there a question in people's mind that he'll be a full-time shortstop? I don't get that. Mata just started throwing again. I don't think he's going to be close to. I don't think he'll be coming up. Houck, Whitlock, and Sale, they're all expected to be back by the 16th. So in Washington, heading into New York, right before that stretch where you do New York, Houston, LA, Houston. That's sort of where you're expecting everyone to be back. That's at least what Alex Cora told the media the other day. Is the 16th is sort of the comeback date for all these. Yeah, he requested a little bit longer. Arm strength, not a question anymore. Do I see Arroyo or Chang getting DFA'd? I think it'll be Chang. Because we talked about this, right? We talked about this last live stream. We talked about this in a video. Chang, all of his production that he brings to a baseball team comes at shortstop, right? You put him at second base, you put him at third base, he's fine. But you have people on this team who are also fine at second base and shortstop who are going to be better offensively than Yu Chang. So in my opinion, when we're talking about the odd man out when Story comes back, it has to be Chang. Everyone else has value other places. Chang simply does not, because you can get what you're getting from Yu Chang defensively at second base or third base until someone else and you can get better offensive numbers. So the model for all MLB is what the Braves did with Acuna and Ozzy Albies. You have to lock them up and buy out some of their arbitration years. If we don't do this with Duran and Casas, then we're stupid. No, I mean, it's not stupid to wait a year, especially when you're talking about Duran, right? Who has struggled hard in the past and yet has been doing well this season, right? To reward that would be great, but you're also taking the risk that he regresses next year. It's not that time to extend Duran. Casas, you've got time, right? You don't have to do it this year. But if you're talking about trying to buy out those arbitration years and then adding, 3-4 years on top of that where you get essentially his entire prime, then it's a little bit of a different story, right? You do kind of want to start doing that with some of these guys. But when you're talking about guys like Duran, I say you got to wait until he comes into 2023 and or 2024 and is doing the exact same thing. If he comes into April and he's on fire like he is, or he finishes out the rest of 2023 the way he is, what's up, Brady? Then you start talking about extensions, in my opinion. Has Mata dropped off, or is he down low in the prospect pool because of his injury? It's injury and the fact that they don't think he's going to be a starter anymore. Blue Jays is a decisive series. Blue Jays is going to be a real interesting series, man. It's going to be really interesting because now you're coming into tomorrow 2 games out of a wild card spot, which means if you sweep the Blue Jays, you're in a wild card spot, 1 game up in a wild card spot. If you win 2 out of 3, you're just 1 game back of a wild card spot. But if you drop 2 out of 3 or you drop all 3 of those games, worst case scenario, you drop all 3 of those games and you are 5 games out of a wild card spot. Second and worst case scenarios, you drop 2 out of 3 of those games and you're 3 games out of a wild card spot. Best case scenario, you sweep them, you're in a wild card spot, and sort of, I think what I want to be the most realistic possibilities, you take 2 out of 3, and you get yourself within 1 game, then you head into the stretch of Kansas City, Detroit, and the Nationals. That's 4, 7, that's 10 games against guys teams who are just abysmal, right? So that, in my opinion, that's sort of why it's a decisive series, because if you lose all 3 of these games to Toronto, you're 5 games out of a wild card spot. That's a lot of ground to make up. And now all of a sudden, you're not really relying on, hey, all we got to do is win 2-3 more games in the Blue Jays the rest of the year. Hey, now we got to claw our way back and play like we did in the entire month of July against the Astros twice, against the Dodgers once, and the Yankees, who we've bodied this year. But you never know against the Yankees, right? So in my opinion, when you're talking about why this series is so big, it's because it could really, really decide what your path to the playoffs looks like over the next 2 months of the season. Would I rather have Devers or Turner defensively every day? Probably Devers. And I know that's a ridiculous take, but you think Hamilton will get another look? It was fun with him and Duran in the same lineup? I don't think so. What's up, Tobias? How do you think the Nationals, Tigers, and Royals series will be, and what would be our record playing against each of these teams? I think they'll be pretty decisive, right? Pretty decisive, because once you stop that stretch, pretty much from there to the end of the season, you're playing really competitive games against teams in your division, right? Because after the Yankees, which I get a little worried facing the Yankees every time, because sometimes they can turn it on, sometimes they don't, right? Then you play Houston, LA, Houston. That's a full week of playing playoff contending teams. Then you come back to the Royals. Okay, great, right? But then you get the Rays, the Orioles, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rangers, all in a row. That's essentially 2 full weeks of playing playoff contending teams. And then you get the White Sox for a little bit of a break. And then you finish the year against the Rays, the Orioles, and that's it, right? It's going to be really, really interesting. To be honest with you, these next 13 games could decide the entire season. It really could, because, you think about it. You get into Houston, right? You get into Houston, right, with 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks left to play. 5-ish weeks to play, right? And you're 5 games out of a wild card spot. Suddenly, this becomes a much more difficult conversation. But if you go into Houston and you're 2 games up in a wild card spot, now it becomes a much different story, right? Yeah. September will be really interesting. Watch us tank against those teams. Gotta hope not. What's the price difference between Durant and Casas is going to be appreciable? You can get Durant on a series bargain. You could, John, and I understand the thought process behind this, but I don't know if it's worth the risk yet, right? I hope you're right, Eamon. What's going on? I think of the last 25 games, 18 are against the division. I could tell you in the month of September, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 series. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are against the AL East, which is brutal. Who do you think the World Series favorites are? I think right now it is the Braves, and it has to be the Orioles, right? It has to be. I don't know. Rangers. I think it's Braves Rangers right now would be the World Series favorites. Does Bloom have a legit long-term plan? Yeah. Yeah. I think you're starting to see the long-term plan, right? And it's build out the core and supplement them with not huge free agent signings, but supplemental free agent signings. I think what Bloom hasn't done well so far is build up the pitching roster, and I think that's going to change this offseason with free agency, but we'll see. Am I going to a game this weekend? No, I got to get my wisdom teeth out tomorrow, so I cannot go anywhere. Do I think Doogie's going to resign? I don't even know if they'll offer him a contract. Is Urias even going to be up this year? I thought you were talking about Julio Urias. Every time I see that last name, I'm like, yeah, Julio Urias. Is he going to be up this year? I think it depends on what he looks like in AAA for a little bit. I would guess, if anything, they'll call him up towards the end of the year, September maybe. Not as a September call-up, but. Has Durant replaced Verdugo in long-term plans? See, the thing is with me is I don't ever want this team to focus around building around prospects that haven't hit the major leagues yet. So in my opinion, they're 2 pieces right now. Durant and Verdugo are both 2 great pieces, and I think they could both be terms of long-term plans. Again, you've got Rafael, who's going to throw a little bit of a wrench in there. If Blaze can get right next year and he can get up to AA at some point, then that could be an interesting conversation. But again, it's hard for me to say Durant has replaced Verdugo in terms of long-term plans, because we don't know what anyone else in terms of outfield production is going to look like at the major league level. So it's hard for me to do that. Do you think Duran will play as good as he had this season next year, or is it going to tank because teams figure him out? No, I think we talked about this a little bit, Prodigy, in his individual video. I think what was wrong with Duran last year and the reason he couldn't make those adjustments is because he was too in his head. What's up, Kevin? He was too in his head about everything. And now that he's sort of out of his headspace, and now that he's sort of loving baseball again, I think he's going to have that ability to make adjustments. So even if teams do figure him out, I think he'll be able to adjust it. Rafael Devers has been insane this month. I don't think people aren't talking about this enough. Rafael Devers is earning $30 million contracts this month. And you got to remember, he's still one of the most productive in terms of actual results players in baseball. He's still top 10 in RBIs, even with a down year, right? He's definitely worth the $30 million a year. And he still has a 22%, he's still 22% above league average production. $5 super chat from Cameron. Can we get some claps to the chat from Cameron? What's going on, Eric? Why do not enough folks talk about the Red Sox roster in 2 years? Casas, York, Meyer, Devers, Massa, Duran, etc. Heim is building an insane infield and core. 100% agree, right? 100% agree. I 100% agree. And people don't want to talk about it because they're afraid that it's going to be rough. In July, Rafael Devers had a 182 OPS plus. He's been fine. He's been 82% above league average production. He hit 354 in the month of July. He'll be all right. Are you mad that the Red Sox made no major moves? I'm not mad. Mad is the wrong word, Boston. I think the better word I would use is a bit disappointed. I thought this was going to be the deadline. They made a big move. They didn't. Hopefully it comes in the offseason, but it needs to be soon, right? We have any good second base prospects that could come up this year? We don't need a second base prospect this year. Hello, Wes. But back to your question, Cameron. I don't know why folks don't want to talk about it. I think it's just because it's not here yet. And Red Sox fans are really impatient with that kind of stuff. As you can see by Scott right here, right? So I think, I think it's not talked about because it hasn't come yet. Casas, York, Devers, Massa, Duran, etc. could be fantastic. It could also not work out, and I think that's why fans haven't been talking about it. Do you see us re-signing Paxton? Verdugo's on. He's going to be here next year regardless. He's under arbitration. So is McGuire. So they're going to be here regardless. Paxton, I think we'll get a qualifying offer. I don't know if we'll see him next year. Turner has a player option, so that's up to him. And Duvall, no, I don't think we see Duvall come back. I don't think we'll see Rafael this year. What'll happen to Story when Meyer comes up? In all honesty, they'll probably... No, Heimblum won't be fired at the end of the season as scapegoat. No. What will happen to Story when Meyer comes up? I think Meyer ends up playing second base for a little bit, like we saw with Xander Bogaerts. And then you just sort of, once he gets used to Major League hitting, you move him over to shortstop and say, hey, Story, you're at second base. Sorry, dude. You know what I mean? Do I think Shohei could possibly be in Boston next spring? I'm not going to say never, but I don't think it's a good chance. Zanatello and Teal debut today. Yeah, they made their debuts last night, I think, technically. They grounded out and flew out. But I could see Teal moving up pretty quickly. Do you think Fitzgerald could be brought up soon this year or next as our second baseman? No. I love Fitzy, but I don't think he's a legit Major League player. Would you have liked to get Verlander worth the cost? I don't think I would have been okay with Verlander because you're giving up a lot for this team. You would have had to go over the luxury tax for this team. Or if you weren't going to go over the luxury tax for this team, you would have given up a ton to get Verlander and have the Mets take on its contract. So I saw that, Pac-Man. I'm kind of glad they didn't do it because I think people are going to be mad that they didn't get a controllable arm, but people would have also been pissed that they were giving up on the season. Yeah, Braden, I was the same way. I was like, I'm not really missing Reese McGuire. And then he came back. I think it was because of what Jorge Alfaro was doing. I wouldn't be shocked if they traded Valdez to Bias. What free agent signing could you see Bloom making this offseason? A pitcher. He needs to get a pitcher. What about Nick York? Nick York won't be up this year. Do you think they will fire Alex Cora? No, I don't think they'll fire Alex Cora. Who won the Mets Verlander trade in your opinion? I actually think it was a lot closer. I actually think it was a lot closer than I think people thought it was. I think the Mets got two great prospects for Verlander. So I think I would say it's still who did he go to? Houston. I still think the Houston won that trade because I think in the long run it's going to help him push towards a legit playoff position. But I don't think the Mets lost that one either. Flaherty would have been nice. Yeah, Flaherty would have been nice. If it was Edward Cabrera, I don't think they put Edward Cabrera on the table. I'd be shocked if they did. Who's the second baseman now with Urias? It's still going to be Arroyo. Probably Reyes in there as well. Yeah, Urias isn't going to make an immediate impact on the team. They brought him in as in AAA, so I don't think he'll be up anytime yet. I think Verdugo should be in our long-term plans. What's up, Sportsy? Yeah, Verdugo, if he can figure his stuff out, yeah. What are your thoughts when Heim call us underdogs because the people from radio don't like it and the people from TV? I don't really understand why people are so upset by that. I really don't. I mean, what are we? Right? What are the Red Sox right now? They're not favorites. What would you call them? What's up, Dinah? Right? So, I mean, everything Chaim Bloom says is going to be picked apart because it's a story. It's something to talk about. I really didn't think the underdog statement was that big of a thing. I really didn't. And I mean, if you're in the clubhouse right now, you're not in a playoff position. You've been inconsistent the entire year. What do you expect the front office to think? Do I think Julio Urias is staying with the Dodgers? No, actually, I don't. I think he'll sign somewhere else. I think the season he's having right now, he's been a little bit better lately, but I think the season he's having right now could cost him a pretty decent chunk of change this offseason. Because I think teams are going to be a little bit nervous. I think teams are going to be a little bit nervous to sign him when he's out. Yeah, he's 498 was the highest of his career outside of 2017 where he made 5 starts. And he has a 280 or 487 FIP, so it's not like he's pitching much better than his ERA leads on. His walks per 9 are about average, I guess. Actually, a little bit below average. His strikeouts per 9 are dropping. His WHIP is up, basically second highest of his career. So yeah, I don't know. I think he's costing himself a little bit of money, and I think we're gonna see less of an actual contract amount than we would have expected at the beginning of the year from Urias. So I don't think he stays with the Dodgers. Let me see here. I'm still irritated that we didn't sell one of our 25 million infield prospects playing well at deadline. I'm kind of surprised they didn't, to be honest with you. Did the Angels make the right move in not trading Ohtani? I don't think they did. And I talked about this when we talked about possibly the Red Sox trading for Ohtani, right? Which obviously was never going to happen. But when I made that video, I also talked about the fact that it was going to be almost impossible for the Angels to trade Ohtani because you would need a legitimate impact player almost immediately, and you would need a prospect haul big enough for it to make sense that the Red Sox would trade away the Angels would trade away Shohei Ohtani, right? So while I don't think it was the right move not trading Ohtani, I don't think there was any correct move in that situation. Hold on, chat. I'm going to take a drink of water. Who should we have traded away? I was in the mindset, and I told you. I told you guys going into the deadline, I didn't want anyone to be sold. I don't think that there was anyone that I wanted to leave the team, but if you were going to get a legit haul for someone, Duvall makes the most sense, right? You have a lot of outfielders right now. Yeah, I really hope Yamamoto is who I think the Red Sox should target free agent pitching wise. I think that's the move. If you don't get Yamamoto, trade for someone controllable. Would you rather have Benintendi or Verdugo right now? Verdugo by a mile. It's not even close. Why is Story not returning? Gritty kind of mentioned it here, but the bigger answer to that question, Eric, is you could tell he feels a lot of pressure to perform right when he gets here, and his timing isn't right yet. He's at a 29% strikeout rate, which is a bit higher than we've seen in the past. He's hitting the ball hard, but he's not hitting as often as he'd want to. He's striking out more than he would like. And I think he just wants to make sure that he is 100% ready to go when he comes back, and there's not a huge adjustment period when he comes back. So he decided that he's going to stay in AAA for a little bit longer. And he said he didn't think he was ready yet, but I don't know if that is something that was decided by him or if that was something that was decided by the team that he was like, okay, I agree with that, right? Corbett, do you think Urias might have a little impact on the Red Sox? I think he could. If he does well, I think he could. Nick, Ohtani doesn't play first base, so I'm not sure what you mean there. Do you think Rafi will eventually become our DH? His third base is still shaky. Yeah, eventually, probably. I think eventually, but it's not gonna happen anytime soon. Luapo. Sorry. Erod can be a free agent. Doesn't look like he's gonna be a free agent. Do you think they will sign Soto when he becomes a free agent? When does he become a free agent? Next year? Going into 2025, right? I don't know. It depends. It would depend on what Rafaela looks like. It depends on what they do with Doogie. It depends on what Duran looks like, right? There's a lot of different factors there. What's up, Boston? Yeah, Soto's been insane this year. He's a 166 OPS plus. He's been nuts. Would I work for Boston? I don't know what you mean. Like the team itself? I don't know. Depending on the offer. Signing Verdugo is the play. We can't have all-stars every position, but he plays an excellent right field as a serviceable offensive player. Yeah, I would agree with you, John. Do you think Urias is going? Yeah, I already answered this, Boston. I said he could have a little bit. Yeah, it depends on what he looks like when he gets to AAA. Hold on. You think I'll be a peanut vendor, Eric? You would buy so many peanuts from me. Don't even lie to me. If your argument against signing one of the greatest hitters in baseball, right? I mean, Juan Soto was 66% more productive at the plate this year than the average hitter in baseball. That's ridiculous. He's the most walks in baseball on top of that, right? Like, it would be insane. It would be insane to me to be like, no, we're not gonna have Juan Soto play on this team because we have too many lefties. Best guess on when we see Urias on the Major League roster? I would say sometime in September, Thomas. Why didn't we get rid of Valdez or Dahlbeck? Does Bloom still have hope for him? No, I don't necessarily think it's hope. I think it's necessarily is someone willing to trade for him, and I don't think many people are. That's just not true, KY. I don't think it's Bloom. I think it's John Henry. Do you agree? I don't know what I'm agreeing to. Urias isn't on the roster? No, he's in AAA. Who is close to Soto in hitting? 166. Are you talking on the Red Sox? Or just in general? I mean, what's Acuna at right now? Yeah, Acuna is essentially the leader in MVP race for the NL, right? And he has a 162 OPS plus. So overall, Juan Soto's been a more productive player than Acuna this year at the plate. Rafael has a 7-27 walk K ratio in AAA. If he can figure out his plate discipline, Rafael is a really dangerous player. He's a really, really dangerous player, which is great for us, right? Right now, he has, at least according to the most updated stats on Fangraphs, he has 7 walks, and he has 27, yeah. What would a Soto contract look like? It would probably be 350, 360 mil. We might guess he turned down 400 mil. I don't know if that was because he just didn't want to sign with the Nationals or what, but he turned down a lot of money. Is Worcester game on Nesson? I don't know. I'll look. No, it's Futures Baseball League. Futures Collegiate Baseball League. Oh, yeah. Worcester Braveheart versus the Vermont Lake Monsters. Is that? What is that? Let me see if it is. Are they just in a promotional thing right now? I don't know. I'll look when it comes back. Yeah, Yamamoto has to be the free agent. You could also, I mean, if you want to do 2-year on Paxton, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. It would have to depend on what he looks like health-wise through the rest of the year, in my opinion. No, I'm on Nesson 360, so it has all of them. It's yeah, they're not playing Nesson Plus is RVing today. I don't know where the Worcester game is. It's probably on the other team's feed. I think they're away this week. Scherzer pitched a complete game for his Texas debut. Damn. Didn't he give up 3 runs against the White Sox? What does the contract look like for Yamamoto? Probably like 170 million would be my guess. When will we see Story back? Probably Monday. Would be my guess. Monday against the Kansas City Royals. I get him wanting a couple of games to come back. I mean, the latest he can come back, I think the latest he could possibly come back is the 10th, I think. So I think the latest we'll see him is Thursday, but I think he comes back Monday on August 7th. And that gives him what? 7, 10, 13, 17, 20, 23, 26, 29, 32, 36, 39, 42, 46, 47, 48. 52 games to make an impact, which could be interesting, right? 52 games of Trevor Story after everything that happened this offseason. He pitched 6 and had 9 Ks. Oh. Yeah, because I thought he gave up runs early. I know that. Yeah, they need consistent pitching in the rotation. And not just consistent pitching, they need top-line rotation pitching. No, I don't think they'll bring Bobby up unless there's a legit injury. Unless either, I would say, Turner, Casas, or Devers gets injured. I mean, the season's over, right? If one of those guys gets injured. But if they do get legitimately injured, I think that's when we see Bobby Dahl back. James Paxton qualifying offer should be $20 million. A lot of iron to pass up, and we get picks. Yeah, I think they'll give him a qualifying offer, Ricky. I'm honestly surprised he's never gotten a qualifying offer, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Never got a qualifying offer. But yeah, I think you give Paxton the qualifying offer. I think it's $21 million next year. Oh my, a live stream. Yes, Mike, a live stream. Need to stay healthy and play good. I think more so you need depth from your starting pitching, right? You haven't gotten a lot of depth from your starting pitching this year. This year, you need to get it for the rest of the season. What's up, Mr. Bob Dylan? Jarren Duran is technically not a free agent until I think 2029. Yeah, 2029 he's a free agent. So you got some time with him. You've got this season and then 5 more seasons after that. Which to me is the main reason why I think you wait. I wanted to see the Bay Sox versus Sea Dogs game today because Marcelo Meyer versus Jackson Ollie is going to be great. Oh, I haven't seen that. What's up, Mr. Biden? Who's Yamamoto? He's a Japanese pitcher who's just insane. Costas critics now silenced. They better be. What else do you say? What else do you say? You know what I mean? Updates on Bayo and Wong card shipping. They are in the mail. Should Bloom explore off-season starting pitching additions in order to move Houck? I don't know if it's in order to move Houck and Whitlock to the bullpen, but I think, you're already talking about it, right? Alex Cora's talked about it. The front office has talked about it. One of them is not coming back to the Boston Red Sox as a starting pitcher. So I think it's more so to fill that gap, right? Because I think you're starting to realize that, hey, one of these guys isn't going to be in the rotation forever, and you need to figure out which one that is and which one that isn't. In my opinion, I think that Whitlock has the highest ceiling as a starter, but the problem is with that is I don't know if he can stay healthy. Bayo's the same time, 2029. Does Cutter go back to the bullpen when everyone comes back? I don't think so. I think they're going to keep Cutter in the rotation. They're going to move either one of Houck or Whitlock into the bullpen. You think Verdugo ends up a free agent and Rafaela takes his spot? I mean, the problem with that statement, Lewis, is that you don't know what he's going to look like, right? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Rafael could get up here and just absolutely suck. So we don't know what that's going to look like. And to let Verdugo walk for Rafaela, to me, doesn't make a ton of sense. How close to the hot seat is Cora? I really like him, but these past 2 series, he's made bad decisions. Here's my problem with the bad decisions, right? That's just not true, John. It's not true. Once they get within 4 years, no. I don't think Alex Cora is that far away or is that close to the hot seat. I'll tell you why, right? Despite the fact that John Schreiber was out there for 2 innings, right? Which to me, in my opinion, is a bit of a blunder. This is one of the best seasons we've had so far as Alex Cora as a manager. I mean, think about what he's had to work through, right? You've had 3 starters in your rotation or less, right? Realistically, you've had 2 legitimate, I started the year as a starters in this rotation since what? Late May, mid-June, right? So for over a month now, you've had the best record in baseball, or the 5th best record in baseball since those guys went down, and you haven't had a rotation. On top of that, too, you look at what the bullpen was supposed to look like at the beginning of the year as to what it looks like now. Those tools that Alex Cora was given at the beginning of the year disappeared really quickly. On top of that, too, you dealt with an adjusting Tristan Casas, an adjusting Masataka Yoshida, an adjusting Jarren Duran. You dealt with Verdugo. You dealt with Justin Turner trying to figure it out, and he obviously figured it out fairly quickly. But all of those factors combined, right? All of those factors combined, and still having a record where you were just 2 games out of a wild card spot feels like magic in terms of what Alex Cora has been able to do. So despite the fact that he has made what feels like some dumb decisions when it comes to managing this bullpen, there aren't really a ton of alternatives to what he did yesterday, right? And on top of that too, I don't care if you have Randy goddamn Johnson in the game. If you have Rafael Devers and Yu Chang colliding and allowing the go-ahead run to cross the plate, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the decisions are. If you have Connor Wong throwing to second base, throwing it low to second base, and allowing the guy on third base, Julio Rodriguez, one of the fastest players in baseball, to score and give you that insurance run, it doesn't matter if you've got prime Mariano Rivera on the mound, right? So to me, when you're talking about the hot seat of Alex Cora, it's not just, hey, he put in this reliever and the game got lost, right? You got to look at the whole season and everything this team has been through, everything Alex Cora has been through from a managing side of things, and you got to look at the overall record. Does Verdugo get an extension? What could it look like? I think if Verdugo's going to get an extension, it's going to be a fairly cheap extension. I think they're going to try and get him on the cheap. Update on the mug and pint glass shipping. It has shipped, Mike. I'll send that to you tomorrow. I mean, John, listen, I'm not against re-signing all these players. I'm just saying you've got 6 years left of Brian Bale before he hits free agency. You've got 6 years left of Jaron Duran before he hits free agency. And you've got 7 years left of Tristan Casas before he hits free agency, right? So you've got time to figure out, can these guys make adjustments when the league makes adjustments against them? What does it all look like, right? So in my opinion, it's just you don't need to re-sign everybody today. Would it be nice to get a 10-year Tristan Casas deal? Of course it would. Would I be celebrating on this channel? 100% I would be. But if they don't re-sign him and they sign him to a 10-year deal next year or the year after that, I don't think the next 2-3 years are going to be the difference between what what this team can be in the future and falling absolutely apart. How many games did they lose because their defense let them down? Too many, Tom. Story's not playing at all in this Blue Jays series, no. Thank you so much, Mr. Biden. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Sorry. Is Cora unhappy with Heim because he's done what he's done with the team? No, I don't think he's like pissed, right? I think he's upset. I don't think he would, if you put him up against a lie detector test, I don't think he would say he's unhappy with what's going on. No way Cora's on the hot seat. If you have a blanket that only goes up to your knees, that's all you can cover. That being said, he's done great with this team. I agree. That was my chair. See? Why sign him for another 10? Because what you would be doing is you'd be buying out his arbitration years. So like what the Braves have done with a lot of their players, right? They buy up their arbitration years. And the reason that they do that is because, one, when a player gets closer to arbitration and they get closer to free agency, they're less likely to sign an extension with your team, so you lose that opportunity. Two, they start getting more expensive once they get to arbitration, right? So Ronald Acuna signed a deal where he's getting, I think it's $11 or $12 million a year. That's a $40 million player, right? But because he signed so early, as he produces, as he gets better, you're saving money in the long run. So that's why you see a lot of teams trying to extend their players super early, is because it saves them money in the long run. Yeah, John, we're on the same page. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be done this season. They should have gotten Middleton or Cease. Yeah, I think Cease. I really think they should have gone for Cease. This was, in my opinion, like we talked about, right? We talked about it a couple of times on this channel. In my opinion, this was the year that you were needed to decide which one of these prospects that are playing what feels like above expectations are going to continue to do that, and which ones are going to fall off and you need to sell high on. Guys like Blaze Jordan, guys like Drohan, guys like Gonzalez, Wilkeman Gonzalez, right? Pareles. Are these guys going to continue to improve? Are they going to be impact players? Or are they going to be guys that you're going to have to make decisions about in the future and you're going to end up with a with a Bobby Dahlbeck situation? I say sign Bayo before Casas. The only reason I say Bayo before Casas is because we've seen a larger sample size from Bayo. But if the Red Sox come into 2024 and they say, hey, I want to buy out Tristan Casas' rest of his rookie years and then his arbitration years, and then I want to be able to have him through 2032, right? Give me 2032, sign him to a 9-year deal, sign him to a 10-year deal next year, and let's buy out those 4 years. So when he's a free agent, right, he's 23 years right now. If you sign him to his 33, 34-year season, you know what I mean? You're getting prime years of Tristan Casas, and that's what you're hoping for. Why not bring him up and play? Because he's great in AAA. He can never perform at the major league level. Which players in Red Sox history do each of these players remind you of? Duran, Ellsbury, Verdugo. God, I don't even know. Who's some fairly above average outfielders? I want to say JD Drew, but that's kind of disservice to JD Drew. Was really, really good. I would say Trot Nixon for Alex Verdugo. Maybe not that same super gritty, but I would say Trot Nixon. Turner. Turner, dependable. I almost want to say this is a stupid comp, but if you take away the power differences, JD Martinez kind of makes sense for that. Devers, David Ortiz, Duvall, not really a comparison. Casas, right now, Xander, I guess. I don't know. These are difficult, Prodigy. I'm going to be honest with you. Mike Greenwell, that's a good comp right there. Was that for Turner, Eric? That was a good comp. Bill Mueller, I never can pronounce that name. Nixon was way better. 2003 he was much better, but every other year's been pretty comparable, to be honest with you. Verdugo to Mike Greenwell, that's probably a pretty good comparison. I honestly think Greenwell might have been a little bit better. But, yeah, that's pretty close. Nixon was pretty consistent. Yeah, so was Verdugo. Yelich. I love the Yelich comp. Mike Lowell for who? Oh, for Turner? That's a good comp, too. Crawford, Stephen Wright. Oh, my God. Stephen Wright. Honestly, Crawford could have a really high ceiling. I think he could be a 3 starter if he can settle in. He's got some crazy stuff. Yeah, actually, Wright's not a terrible pick. The August trade deadline, that's just for minor league players, so I don't know. If I had Nixon and you had Doogie on my team would beat yours? I don't think so. Free agent bats the Sox could be interested in. I don't even know what free agent bats there are. Honestly, I don't know if we see a free agent bat signing. Like, I don't know how much of a need you're going to have. Like, you probably won't go for Goldschmidt. You probably aren't going for Altuve. You're definitely not going for Donaldson. You're not going for Joey Votto. Bregman, maybe, if he'll get off of third base. Conforto, probably not. Bellinger's been insane, but probably not. Josh Bell, probably not. Max Muncy, you don't really need him. Mark Canha, no, I don't think so. It depends on. No, he'll be back. I think he'll be back Monday. Mr. Bob Dylan. Is Fitzgerald ever going to be called up? He's like 29 now. I don't think so. Is Turner a free agent after this year? Only if he opts out. Yeah, you have to see. If Turner opts out, then it's a different question. Because then you're probably going to need another right-handed bat. But if he doesn't opt out, could I see Turner opting out? Yeah, I could. I could definitely see Turner opting out. Although if the Red Sox didn't trade him and they got a controllable arm offer from Miami, hopefully there's some sort of incentive there. Yeah, I think this offseason needs to be centered around pitching. If you are going to bring in any sort of controllable, if you are going to bring in any sort of free agent bat, it's going to be right-handed. It's going to be a supplemental piece. It's not going to be a big signing. And there really aren't a ton of big free agents, honestly, in terms of position players this offseason. Like, there's no one that's going to make us go, holy crap, the Red Sox signed who, right? Surprised Alonso hasn't gotten an extension yet. Maybe he doesn't want to be there. Yeah, the Red Sox have to trade for Cabrera, and they tried to, and it was a lot. Wouldn't mind seeing Bellinger here. You'd have to get rid of someone in the offseason in terms of your outfield. Do the Immaculate Grid. I think I already did today's Immaculate Grid. If you guys want me to do it together, we could do it. I don't think I've done it on my computer yet. Verdugo can leave for Belly. My problem with Belly is he could just as easily leave Chicago and go back to what he was, right? That's the other problem. Because he has to go through waivers, Mike. Every other team has a chance to sign him. I'm fully in on Bellinger's resurgence. I'm just nervous about what it's going to look like next year. Jung-Hoo Lee. Yeah, that's another thing too, Tom. Yeah, don't expect Story to solve all your middle infield problems, right? You're getting issues on the middle infield outside of Story. Any new baseball cards? Nah, I've been in the middle of a move and I just upped my rent, so I've been laying off baseball cards for a little bit. Versatility gifting 5 new Red Seat Radio memberships. Can we get some claps in the chat? 1 for Mr. Versatility, and everyone who got a gifted sub from Mr. Versatility. Can we please get some thank yous in the chat? Thank you so much, Mr. I Am Versatility, for your lovely donation to this channel. And I hope you guys enjoy it, because August 3rd, you will be able to get into this month's members-only live stream, which is going to be awesome. Which is going to be fantastic. But yeah, so I've been laying off baseball cards for a little bit, because I've been trying hard to save up a little bit of cashish. But I did get someone fairly recently after, actually, Trevor, since you've been in here. I got a. Let me think. Oh, I got that Masataka Yoshida one out of 25. What's happening in the members only live stream? We'll probably do a watch party, and it's gonna be a big game. I want to do a big game with the members only, so I'm thinking. Versatility's been here for 5 months. Thank you for being here for 5 months, Mr. Versatility. Can we get a happy birthdays in the chat for Versatility? Happy birthday, Versatility. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel the way you do. I appreciate you. You're not sold on Connor Wong? I don't know, like, what else do you need to be sold on Connor Wong by? He's one of the best defensive catchers in the game. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the game. So I'm not entirely sure, like, what else you need. You know? I don't really care about his production at the plate. I honestly don't. I care about his defense I care about his defense. His defensive WAR is 5th in all of the AL, right? He's 2nd in assists by a catcher. He's 2nd in caught stealing by a catcher. He's 5th in passed balls. He's 3rd in double plays turned by a catcher. He's 3rd in caught stealing percentages. He's 2nd in assists, 4th in putouts. I really truly don't care about offense. Biggest surprise of the season so far has to be what Nick Pavetta's been able to do out of the bullpen. Yeah, Tom, that's another part of it too, right? He's still growing, he's still adjusting. And on top of that too, you just drafted Kyle Teal. So that's a guy too who could be a factor in the Red Sox catching in the next couple of years because he came out of college. So I don't think so. Biggest surprise to you is Duran's another good one. But I think what Nick Pivetta has been able to do out of the bullpen has been shocking, right? I think most of us just sort of expected him to just sort of go there to die. And he's resurged. He's been vital for this team over the last couple of weeks. A lot of people didn't. I wanted them to trade Jarren Duran. I thought he could still be a major player in Major League Baseball, but I didn't think it was ever going to be with the Red Sox. And I'm really glad it is. But yeah, I was, Robbie, if he's in here, he always quotes me on that. I wanted him gone before the season. I wanted him traded before the season. Cutter's a big surprise. That's a good one. One game for Boston this year? No. No, I don't think they have Rafaela come up this year. Yeah, I am excited to see how Teal develops. I think we could see him knocking on the door at 2025. Oops. Yeah, I mean, he's been great in AAA, don't get me wrong. Rafaela's been fantastic in AAA. So, I don't know. What game of the National Series am I going to be streaming for? Good question. Let me look at the schedule. I'll probably stick to the same schedule. It'll probably be Wednesday. It'll probably be Wednesday. I love that Duran has made the adjustment of the stride instead of the leg kick, and the man has that changed him as a player. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to be at the game that day? We'll have to keep an eye out for you, Jackson. Any chance we get a Brian Mata sighting if healthy? Probably not. He missed so much time this year. Probably not. Yeah, the injuries have been the real problem. We knew the defense was going to be questionable. We knew the offense was going to be good, and we knew the pitching was going to be questionable. But what's really caused the Red Sox so much grief has been their injuries, right? How many steals do I think Duran gets this season? I don't even know. How many does he have so far? 19? He's 23. I'd say he ends up with 38. Actually, there's only 50 games left. Yeah, I think 33. Was hoping for a Story debut. Sorry about that, AS. But you still get a great game. You'll still get a great game. I'll look for you, Jackson. Don't worry. Yeah, the problem with Durant is he's just not staying on first base. Yeah, we talked about it already a little bit, but with Rafaela, I don't want to bring him up in the midst of a playoff race. I would rather have Sadan come up and be able to make adjustments without tanking the team's season, right? Yeah, versatility. It's definitely I think that's the biggest adjustment, but I also think his mental attitude is what's gotten him to this point. Oh, of course. He's a master at setting up hitters. I can't even imagine what it's like to learn from Jason Varitek. As both a catcher and a pitcher, it's got to be one of the more interesting things in the entire world, right? Because Jason Varitek was one of the best catchers of his generation, and in Red Sox history, he's one of the best ever, right? He's caught the most no-hitters. He's been that sort of, I'm going to lead this team and I'm going to do it well, basically his entire career. So yeah, it makes sense. I can't imagine what it's like working with him now. How long do you think Urias stays in AAA? I think it'll be at least a month. I don't think we'll see an immediate impact because for the Red Sox, right, it's a kind of a win-win situation. I mean, the guy we trade for him is good in low A, but you weren't going to protect him in the Rule 5 draft. You're probably losing him anyway. You essentially got him for nothing. Which pitchers do I think are starting game 2 and 3? Is it another, Chad, are we going to have to do another, members, are we going to have to do another day-by-day update? Mr. Murphy, is Chris pitching at all this weekend? Do you know? Yeah, so we got Paxton Manoah, which will be interesting because Manoah's a different pitcher. Yeah, TBD, TBD. We're definitely going to have to go game by game, chat. Chris Sale, I think, Sunday? Nah, Sale's got another. Yeah, you think Chris is going to be pitching this weekend? I would guess it's probably Paxton and then Bernardino coming in and then Murphy following him. When did Nick Pivetta start? He started on Monday? No, he started on Tuesday, right? No, he started on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So he'll probably get Chris Murphy on Sunday and Nick Pivetta on Saturday would be my guess. Probably be my guess. When's Bayo going to pitcher? Probably Monday. Oh, Sale will be starting Sunday in Syracuse. Got it. You going to go, Brady? Remember we played the Yankees just as when Judge got hurt. Now we're playing the Jays without Bichette? I hope so. Yeah, I see it, AR. Okay. Thoughts on Acuna going to the Mets? Was hoping the Sox would have snagged him. Good potential. Yeah, I think he's good. He's going to be really interesting. He's got a weird first name, right? It's like Love Angel or something. Yeah, you'll have to update me on that, Brady, because I would love to see. I would love to see. I saw Chris Sale last year make his rehab start. It's a lot of fun. He'll be there Sunday, I think, Brady. I don't think he'll come back until Monday. No, not Ronald Acuna, his little brother, which I totally forget his name of. McClanahan's on the 15-day IL? Uh-oh. I want to go to the game on the 10th for that jersey. Oh, yeah, I saw that. They were giving away for the DR celebration. I was going to... Yeah, Luis Angel. Yeah. That's what it is. I thought it was Love Angel for the longest time. Not really sure why I kept thinking that. Was that the start where he damaged the TV? Must have been. Yeah, the Mets got a lot of great prospects back. A lot of teams way overpaid. I hope he ends up in the big leagues with the Mets, um so he faces Acuna. That'd be cool. And Bayo for the Jays series. I don't think they'll go with Bayo on 4 days rest because he did Wednesday, right? So it would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't think they'll have him go on 4 days rest. Boston could have gotten a haul for Turner. Maybe. Think we need to keep the sweep train going against the Jays? God, I hope so. Yeah, I think Bayo will go Monday or Tuesday. I don't think he'll go this weekend. Oh, Bayo went Tuesday? Oh, then maybe we do get him Sunday. Interesting. They may give him an extra day. Problem with that is this is such a big series. Like, I'd rather give him an extra day against the Tigers. I have a feeling the Mets are going to offer Ohtani something ridiculous. I think they're going to be pretty low-key this offseason from what we've been hearing. Yeah, that's a great game to go to, Brady. Wow. Imagine what we would have got for Paxton. Yeah, I don't think they never really talked about trading Paxton. They were listening to offers, but they said unless teams blew him away, they weren't going to trade him, and clearly no one blew him away. Yeah, I'd be pretty shocked if we saw Bayo start in this series. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go Paxton and then opener Pavetta and then opener Murphy. Turner would have gotten a cease? No, definitely not. What's up, Milan? Yeah, trading for Bloom. I mean, Luis Angel was what, their number 3 prospect? Had to have been, right? Because they got 2 pitchers. Why wouldn't Bayo go with 5 days rest? Who played second base for the Sox in 2018? Pedroia, Kinsler. Did Iglesias have time at the second base in 2018? Pedroia, Brock Holt, Eduardo Nunez. There were a lot, I think. Yeah, I agree, AS. I don't think Bloom's terrified to lose a trade. When did Brandon Phillips play for us? God, I have no idea. 2012, maybe? I have no idea. Oh, he played for us in 2018. He played 9 games for the Red Sox in 2018. All at third base. Oh no, he played 5 games at second base, 4 games at shortstop or third base, and then 2 appearances at. He only made 5 starts. Interesting, but was in 9 games. 2 games in Atlanta. Oh, that is a really good immaculate grid answer. For actually today, right? It was Red Sox and Cincinnati today. Did Brandon Phillips get a World Series ring? I don't really know how those work, to be honest with you. I would assume he did. Yeah. Did he retire? He retired after 2018. $10 from Mr. Mad. Corbin, thanks for the stream. I'll save the hot takes for another time for now. Good job. Looking forward to the next live. Thank you so much, Mr. Mad. Can we get some claps in the chat for Mr. Mad? Thank you so much, Mr. Mad. You could give me your hot takes now. I'm curious. Who do you have winning the World Series this year? Objectively, I'm thinking Orioles. I mean, it's the Braves. It's gonna be so hard for a team to beat the Braves in a 7-game series. So hard. How far do I live from Fenway? 25 minutes. Yeah, that makes sense, Brady. Yeah, I have no idea. Can we get some claps in the chat right now? I always go Mr. Mad because saying thank you, Daddy, for $10, it feels like it could demonetize me. Where'd I go for vacation? I had a funeral to go to on Saturday in New Jersey, and then I spent the rest of the time in Vermont. Wow, that's a good collection you got going, AI. And yet you hate Hein Bloom, but you're collecting all of his prospects. I should do a Fenway tour video. I don't know who to contact. I don't know who the best contact would be to get a... Because I wouldn't want to do like a tour while everyone's there. You know, I'd want to do like a quick private tour. Thanks, Brady. Appreciate it. Yeah, Fangraphs ranked the Red Sox farm system as third. Carabas, I guess I could try to reach out to Jared. I don't know. We're not like close like that. We're friendly, but I wouldn't say I'm close enough to say ask Zach Campbell. Yeah. I don't know if I'm close enough to say, hey, I want, can I have access? Yeah, Fangraphs has them third, the Red Sox, behind just the Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pretty impressive. They are now ahead of Cleveland, the Dodgers, Tampa, and Texas. You're trying to see Jared on Sunday? I would go down to, Bucky, I would go down to the home team dugout probably about an hour before the game. You'll probably be able to catch him there. Because he'll be there. Because these are going to be big games. Actually, is Sunday a day game? If Sunday's a day game, probably not. How is Cincinnati not on that list? I don't know. They have Cincinnati as the 21st. Yeah, if it's a day game, you're not going to be able to see Jared. Sorry, Bucky. He doesn't go. There's not a single 70 future value or 65 future value player according to Fangraphs. Crazy. It's so interesting looking at these. Oh, Hein Bloom just explained his underdog comment on ITM podcast. Yeah, I think there's too many. I think you're seeing what you're seeing right now with Cincinnati's a graduation, right? Yeah, the knock on Baltimore is they have really great prospects and then not a lot. They're still 8th in baseball right now. Yeah, they still have a lot, right? So oh, Bucky, that makes sense. Then yeah, you should be able to see him. As long as you're Oh, you got seats behind the plate? Yeah, as long as you're on the first base side before the game, he'll be there. How many feet is the Red Sea from home plate? 502? Gunnar and Adley, yeah, Gunnar, they definitely graduated. Grayson Rodriguez is close to graduating. You don't like the name John Henry? Yeah, I think what the Red Sox farm system has been able to do these last couple of years has been really, really impressive, right? Because when you're looking at it, you're looking at you were the last in the league in 2019. To be third in the league, according to Fangraphs, in 4 years is really, really impressive. And I think that says a lot as to what the direction of the team is going, right? I think people just need to be patient, which I know people hate when people say that, but it is. It's about patience. We rebuilt, right? The Red Sox rebuilt, and they're still contending while they're rebuilding. You can't say that about a lot of teams. Look around the league, right? Look around the league. Rafael up this year? Probably not. When will I start doing YouTube full time? I don't know, Kevin. Hopefully at some point. I'm about, I don't know. I really don't. It all depends, ad deals, memberships, earnings, all that stuff needs to be factored in to figure out like kind of when the exact when the exact time frame would be for that. But I hope to get there at some point. You guys are helping me. I already explained this, Brady. I don't think it's a matter of Alex Cora being smarter. Thanks, Gavin. I appreciate that. Hold on, Chad. I'm doing some research because someone said they would rather have Alex Anthopoulos, and I wanna look at something really quickly. All right, so in 2017, oh no, going into the 2018 season here. Yeah, going into the 2018 season, Alex Anthopoulos became the VP / GM of the Braves. During that time, he was gifted a lineup that had Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Ronald Acuna. Right? His pitching staff consisted of Anibal Sanchez, who was fantastic, Julio Teheran, who was pretty good. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that guy's name, but Mike Foley-Newix. I don't think I spelled Folty-Newix, who was really good, right? The different situations. Yeah, but Brady, who else can he go to, right? You can't use Chris Martin and Josh Winkowski every single day. And on top of that, too, we talked about already, I don't care if you've got prime Mariano Rivera out there. If you've got Rafael Devers running into Yu Chang, and if you have Connor Wong throwing to second base when you have Julio Rodriguez on third base, it doesn't matter who's on the mound. It's about player performances, in my opinion, more than it's about Alex Cora. Now, are there decisions that I don't agree with? Folty-Newitz. Oh, yeah, I was never going to get that right. Now, are there decisions that I disagree with 100%? But if we're talking about overall throughout this season, look at what Alex Cora's had to deal with, right? He's had 2 legitimate starting pitchers in this rotation for over a month now. A month. And you've had the 5th best record in all of baseball? How are you going to blame Alex Cora for the losses but not going to give him his credit when he wins the way he's winning right now? Folty-Nevitz? Yeah, no, I give up on that. It's kind of wild. The Braves have finished in first place every season since 2018. That's crazy. Yeah, versatility, but I think that's the idea, right? Is you want to start locking these guys up earlier. And if we're talking about faults of Bloom, right? Is Xander getting locked up earlier Bloom's fault, or is it Dombrowski's for giving him that opt-out 3 years into his contract? And then if you look at Mookie Betts, is it Bloom's? Yeah, I think it's both. I think you're right. I think it's sort of a foundational thing. Recap, so I'm not asking old questions. There was a lot, Robbie. You're gonna have to. I think whatever you ask, I'll answer. Right? I don't expect everyone to. I don't expect everyone to be here the whole time, so I'm perfectly okay with re-answering questions. So if you got a question you want to ask it, go ahead. I'm not gonna be like, hey, I already answered that. You know what I mean? Unless you're in the chat asking it like 40 times in a row. Look at Brazier's stats for the Dodgers. I'm not saying he deserves to be fired, but he has some things to sharpen up for sure. Yeah, okay. I could see that point of view, Brady. Why can't I spell Brazier right? Oh, there's no I? Oh. He is a he is a 1 ERA in 18 innings pitched with a 2.99 FIP. Unbelievable. I don't think Pavetta. I think they like what he's doing in the bullpen right now. How do I become a member for the members only live stream? The members only link will come up in the chat, but I will put it in the chat for you at some point. Oh, did it disconnect? Oh, there we go. Here, I'll put it in the chat for you. So anyone who does want to become a member and be at the members only live stream, every other month we do a live stream where we do a trivia and the winner gets a prize. And then every other month we'll watch a game together where you guys can ask. Just click that link, follow the instructions. Where you guys can ask a lot of more questions. I try to answer this. I try to answer your questions as deeply as I possibly can. Is this Bloom's last days? No. And what about the brass? It's time for new ownership? No. Why is Brazier doing that? Because the Dodgers have voodoo magic, man. Everyone that goes there is just insane. It's as simple as that. He's just insane. I don't know. I don't know what they do over there. He's not even striking a lot of guys out. I mean, Sam Kennedy doesn't do enough where it's like I need to put my hatred towards Sam Kennedy. But like what has Kennedy done that like what has he done? I mean all he really controls is sort of the day-to-day operations. Like he's not choosing the players that are on the team. He's not choosing the lineups. He's not choosing how they perform. He doesn't do anything. So why are we mad at Sam Kennedy? Why did Story elect for more rehab time? Because I think there's a lot of weight on Story's shoulders to get back. John, welcome to Standing Room, my friend. Thank you so much. But if you do want access to the members only live stream, it is bleachers or higher. Just a heads up, John. But thank you so much. Please enjoy all of the emotes that come along with joining the Standing Room. Gives a collapse to the chat for John. Sam Kennedy's toxicity is ruining the organization. Oh, man. That is a good one, Rhodes. Thank you. What are your favorite sources to watch for trades or other things related to Red Sox and baseball? I mean, Jeff Passan on Twitter is usually good. Ken Rosenthal is usually good in terms of all Major League Baseball. I like Cotillo, Ian Brown, and Max Cerullo. Those are my three go-to beat writers for the Red Sox. There's some good ones, though. I think Chris Henrique is a great one. Whitlock, Houck in the Pen, DNFA, Jakes, and Blyer. Why'd you just put Jared Carabas in the chat and spell his name wrong? I would say one of those two, Jay, will be in the bullpen. I don't think both of them will be, and I think it'll be for Jakes. Although I don't think Blyer's got. I think if they probably end up DFAing Blyer. I think at some point this year. I mean, he's not getting paid a ton. He's not getting paid a ton. He's not doing a whole lot. I think they DFA Blyer at some point. Maybe when they both come back. But at some point I do think he gets DFA'd. Do you think Core's to blame for all the fielding errors? No. I don't. I think the errors are just simply mental mistakes, and there's only so much you can do as a manager in terms of mental mistakes, right? Those are just things that your players need to figure out, essentially. Do you think Arroyo is on the block too? I'd say he's on the block. I don't think he's going to be chopped though. Yeah, I'm not very happy about Joely Rodriguez on the IL. I thought he was doing really well. All right, Versatility. Happy birthday once again. Thank you for the gifted subs. I appreciate you stopping by on your birthday. Have a great one, my friend. So, what I'm looking at here is total errors by the Red Sox, right? Is 74. Have a good one, Gavin. Is 74, right? You take away the 15 committed by Kike. 15 committed by Kike. Now you're down to 59, right? Appreciate that. Think outside the box. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm trying to put it into a bit of perspective here, right? When we're talking about is the whole team bad? Like, I'm just looking. All I want is just errors. That's all I want. Why does everything need to be super advanced? Oh, it's because I'm on advanced. Okay. So all I'm basing this on is errors, right? I think overall there's more to what the Red Sox have done so far this year. But if you take away Kike's errors this season, right? If you take away the 15 errors Kike has committed this season, the Red Sox dropped from 74 errors to 59 errors. That would move them from the number 1 spot in terms of errors in Major League Baseball to the number 11 spot in Major League Baseball, right? So I think there's some merit to Kike leaving and just our overall defense improving. But it was never just a Kike problem, right? Yeah, Devers has been a problem. I think what we've seen this year is what someone else mentioned, where you're seeing a lot of guys who are, not making errors, but they're not making good plays either, right? Does that make sense? Like they'll throw to the wrong bag, or they overhit a cutoff, or they try to airmail a thing, right? Or something doesn't be called an error, but they probably should have made the play, right? You see a lot of that this year. So I think that's more so what the errors have been about, and I think why the Red Sox have had such problems defensively. But I think if we're just talking in terms of errors, the Red Sox errors themselves have been a bit overplayed. It's all right, Dennis. It's good to hear from you, my friend. I think Devers at the DH spot would help him offensively. I don't know. We talked about there are some guys who play better. I mean, being a DH, a full-time DH, has its own set of problems, right? Every at-bat means so much more to what your value is on a team. It means so much more to who you are as a player that can get in a lot of guys' heads, and I don't know if Devers is ready for that. Who's been your favorite closer for the Red Sox in recent year? Koji, Kimbrel, or Kenley? Koji. If we're picking out of those three, Koji. 2013 Koji was ridiculous. Yeah, and it's hard to stay focused. I think there's a lot, right? There's been a lot of issues with full-time DHs in the past. At least guys transitioning from being a full-time player to a full-time DH. And I think Red Sox fans, it's hard for us to understand that because for the last 20 years, we've had a really, really great DH there, a full-time DH, right? You had David Ortiz, and then you had 1 year without a DH, and then you got JD Martinez. So it's hard for as Red Sox fans to be like, oh, You know, easy solution. He's a good hitter. He'll be David Ortiz. You know what I mean? But no one's David Ortiz. No one's JD Martinez. It's hard for them to be those guys. Hanzo Robles was my favorite closer. He had a good run. JD Martinez played some left field. Yeah, but I mean, he was primarily DH. Let's be honest here. He didn't come here to play left field, you know? So I think it's hard for us as Red Sox fans to wrap our head around, oh, Devers is a great hitter. Why can't he be a great DH? Because all we've known, for the most part, I'd say, especially in recent memory, has been great DHs. But for a lot of people, it's hard to make that transition into DH because there's so much more that goes into it than just, I'm a good hitter. Duran's been our best player this year. WAR-wise, yeah. WAR-wise, he has been. I can't think of a team that's had a great DH for a while. Right. Right. Like, I was just trying to think in my head, like, great DHs. Nelson Cruz is struggling this year, but he was a decent DH, right? And then, obviously, Justin Turner's been fantastic. But I mean, outside of that, right, the only other great DH in baseball right now is JD Martinez. Yeah, but those are guys who are great. Like, Edgar was great back in the day. Tomey was great back in the day. Yeah, I was thinking current DHs. Yeah, I'm not worried about. I'm really not worried about Devers at third base. I mean, he's gonna make errors, but he could still swing it. I'm sure he could. Yeah, Otani. Yeah, but does he really count? Because he still plays a position on the field. You talk about Eloy Jimenez. Has he played the field at all this year? He's too injured, dude. He doesn't play enough game. Like his last 4 seasons, 55 games, 84 games, 73 games. Brutal. When he's healthy, he's a great DH. He's just not healthy enough. Yeah, he plays a decent amount of outfield, actually. Stan's been a good DH. Bryce Harper's a DH. Bryce Harper's only a DH because he can't play the field yet. So I don't know if you count that as a legit, like, I don't know if you count that as like a legit DH. Stan's had some good years at DH, but if we're talking about current DHs, I don't know if Stan's a guy that I'm like, this needs to be in the best DHs in baseball category. Dude's hitting 203 this year. And he hit 211 last year with a 462 slug. Still hit 31 bombs, but only had 53 RBIs. Oh, I'm sorry. No, he didn't. He had 78 RBIs. Jordan, that's a good DH. I don't even know, Frost. Probably 1, 2, maybe 3 times, 4 times. Yeah, there have been a lot of trades with the Dodgers, for sure. A lot of trades with the Dodgers, for sure. Yeah, the Dodgers and the Red Sox have had an interesting relationship for a while. Marcell Ozuna is not a good DH now. Sam Travis, yeah, he's not a good DH. If that's what you're saying. So I mean, it's to say like Rafael Devers needs to be at DH right now. It's too early in my opinion. He's too young. He's got too much time left. Would you call Mancini a DH? Sure, but he's not been good either. So in my opinion, regardless, I mean, Rafi's going to make errors, right? We know that. But we also know he's going to be one of the most productive hitters in Major League Baseball. And so you take that trade-off. You're not going to put him at DH. No, he wouldn't, Rhodes. And it's such a stupid thing that people get overworked about. Like, if a guy's a little bit bigger, people are like, oh, man, he needs to lose weight. Like, our best player of the last 30 years was a bigger guy. Out of every major league team, the last team that should be coming at people's weights, unless they are obscenely bigger than they were before, and it's impending or it's impeding on what they do on the field. The Boston Red Sox, best hitter in the last 30 years was David Ortiz, right? Why? How can you as a Red Sox fan sit there and say that, oh, Rafi would just get fat as a DH? It blows my mind that Red Sox fans care at all if a guy's a little bit bigger. And Rafael Devers not even a big dude. He's just husky. I mean, that's all it is, right? He's in good shape this year. Like let's look at this, because this is the stuff that really frustrates me, because like I don't care. I really don't care if a guy is stick thin. Like, what part of this, right? Where here are we talking about this guy being too big to do his job? Right? Okay, fine. Maybe it's a good picture of him. Sure. This isn't even big. He's in shape. He's in shape. He's just not toned. Sorry, Brady. Middle left white jersey. Here? I mean, even here. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Why are we complaining about weights? Like, look at when he's swinging the bat. He doesn't even have a tummy. He doesn't have a tummy. Like, he's just like, you're talking about one of the best hitters in baseball. So I always get frustrated when people are like, oh, he's going to get big. Remember Pablo Sandoval as his red? Yeah, see, now that's a guy where you could be like, okay, right? All right. You know what I mean? AR, yeah, I see that. Yeah, I get it. Where it's like, okay, he's so big that it's impeding his ability to play the game of baseball. Try and find a shirtless Manny Ramirez? No, I'm not going to try and find a shirtless Manny Ramirez. I don't know if Michael Chavis was ever... I don't know if Michael Chavis was ever had the potential to be like a super great player. I think he had a good year with the Red Sox his first year coming up, but it was never like I don't think anyone expected him to. Sometimes players just do well and then they can't figure it out past that. I think that's what happened. He had like a good second half of the season with Pittsburgh when we traded him, but he's never been an above average baseball player for a full season, so. Yeah, Miguel Andujar, yeah, that's another guy he was really good and then he flamed out. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It was pretty easy to tell pretty quickly how good Rafael Devers was going to be. And he has been. Chavis was traded during the 2021 season. What are my thoughts on Bobby Dahlbeck? I love the guy. Think he could be a serviceable major league player. I just don't think it's going to be in Boston. Say someone gifted you a sub? Well, tell them thank you. I don't really know. It must have been versatility. It was his birthday, so yeah, we're going live tonight. Yeah, I figured we'd hang out this week. I had, yesterday was at 4:10. I didn't get back from vacation until Tuesday night. So, thoughts on Manuel Valdez? I think he could be serviceable major league player. I just don't know if there's room for him. What happened to Manuel? He got sent down because he wasn't doing very well. Cedon in September? No, I don't think we'll see Cedon Rafael in September. I don't know if Manoah did that. Dahlbeck is having a good year in AAA, but I still don't think he's going to be an impactful major league player. At least with the Red Sox. I think if you move him to like Oakland or Detroit or Kansas City or somewhere in that realm, I think when he gets an ability to play every single day, yeah. I don't. How has been Manoah's been good since he's come back up, which will be interesting to see what he does. Jeez, that's terrifying. Yeah, he's been good since he's come back up. 1 earned run, 4 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 1 earned run. So it'll be interesting to see what he does against the Sox this week. No, it's definitely Manoah because I'm looking at it right here. He pitched against him. No, overall this year he has not been good. But yeah, I mean maybe that might have something to do with his weight for sure. Yeah, but Bob's been playing right field. He's been playing third base. I think you'd fit him almost anywhere. This offseason, they got to move Bobby Dahlbeck just for the sake of letting Bobby Dahlbeck go, What do you think the Blue Jays are going to do with DeYoung when Bo Bichette comes back from injury? I don't know, to be honest with you. I would guess DeYoung ends up at second and they DFA Gavin Biggio. That would be my guess. Right? Gavin Biggio has been pretty terrible this year. He's been pretty bad for the last couple of years. I mean, he's not a terrible player, right? He's sitting with an OPS plus right around league average, but not over league average. So I think you'd rather have DeYoung in that position. So yeah, that would be pretty crazy, Karen, actually. As a Sox fan, who are you cheering for in the Yankees-Astros series? Whit Merrifield's been playing outfield for him. He went into he made the All-Star team as a left fielder, so Um, I think I'm rooting for the Astros. Like, I don't think the Red Sox are gonna catch the Astros. What's up, Mr. Mario? I don't think the Red Sox are gonna catch the Astros, so I'd rather them put a dent in the Yankees being able to come back. Because like if the Yankees were 2 or 3 games out of the Red Sox, I'd be like I'm rooting for the Yankees because then the Astros make it better. Varsho's right field. I don't even. You know what? I don't even like. I'm not even thinking about hatred. I know. I saw that. I don't think the Mariners will be able to maintain it though. They sold this deadline. They've been, they've been good lately, but I don't know if it's sustainable. So I mean, I'm not super worried about what the Mariners are going to do behind us. If to be honest with you, like I said, I think that like this is probably going to jinx the Red Sox, which I always end up doing anyways. So I'm just going to say it. I think when you're looking at the wild card standings right now, and you're trying to figure out how the Red Sox get into the playoffs, right? I think all you have to do is win 3 more games than the Blue Jays do. We just need to beat our division going forward. And I think you sneak into the postseason. I think you do. Did the Yankees do anything at the deadline? They got a singular relief pitcher. That's it. I don't think we can beat the Rangers. We already did beat the Rangers, baby. Nice, Murica. Yeah. Red Sox and Yankee fans are actually more similar than we think. Yankee fans are just way more entitled, but Red Sox fans are there. I'm actually glad we didn't gut our system for rentals. I'm pretty, I've been sitting on the deadline for a while, and I think not selling is actually a move that I really agreed with. You know, I think even though you didn't get anything really major, you didn't sell, and for me that's a good like thing. You know what I mean? Before Scherzer, yeah, I mean I don't think even with Scherzer, right? You're gonna be playing him in a 7-game series anyways. I don't think, or no, you're gonna be playing him in a 5-game series, right? I don't think. It's probably going to be Scherzer, Eovaldi, Dunning in the first 3. You could win one of those games, then anything can happen in the last 2. So, yeah, and the Red Sox have always done well against Max Scherzer. And Scherzer historically has been really bad in the playoffs. And the Red Sox have historically hit Chapman well, too, in the playoffs. Thank you so much, George. Thanks for stopping by. Right? Like, I don't think Scherzer starting game 1 to me doesn't scare me as much as if we were facing. Like, there really isn't a team that I'm like, oh my God, if we go up against them, we're going to get crushed when it comes to the postseason until you get to the National League. DeGrom, you're not going to see this year. Like when it comes to the American League, right? You're talking about you're facing the Twins if you make it in first round. I'm not super worried about facing the Twins as much. I think they'll be a hard opponent, but I don't think, you know what I mean? The Orioles, they have a great offense, and that's why they're winning. But in a 5-game series, I mean, you're dead even with them on the year. And the Rangers, we already talked about, right? Their offense is going to be insane. The Astros, yeah, I think the Astros would be the only one I'd be super worried about. The Astros would be the only one I'm super worried about. Like, we've crushed the Blue Jays pitching so far this year. So, I don't know, you know? And Verlander, too, historically hasn't been fantastic in the postseason either. Facing Tampa Bay in the postseason would suck. Yeah, it would. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So We would face the Twins. The Astros and the Rays would face each other. And then we would face the Rangers, and then the Rays and Astros, the winner of that series would face the Orioles right now. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. Playoff experience is going to be interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the Rays or the Twins concern me a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know. They have a good rotation. They have some good pitchers. But I think if our pitching staff can keep this lineup silent, I think you got a good chance at beating the Twins in a five in a what? Yeah, you'd face them in a 5-game. No, you'd face them in a 3-game series too. Yeah, I think when you look at the playoff pictures, the Red Sox can make it into the dance. Anything can happen. Like I'm genuinely not terrified of any of these teams. I think the Astros and the Rays scare me the most. I think the Red Sox can take the Rangers in a 5-game series. I think they could take the Orioles in a 5-game series. Right? I think the Astros and the Rays, the Astros and the Rays are the ones where I'd be like, you know what I mean? And there's still a ton of season left. There's still 50 plus games left. So there is a chance that, hey, maybe you sneak into the second wild card spot and you go up against the Rays. I don't know. I think what this season's going to come down to is the last week for the Red Sox. Last week. What day is the season end? Because that's going to suck if it's on my girlfriend's birthday. No, we're good. We'll probably stream. If it comes down to the last couple of games for the Red Sox to make it into the postseason, we'll probably stream those games. If our rotation isn't ready by October, yeah. That's the big thing, right? Michael Pineda, I'm all set with. Dylan Bundy, I'm good with. I don't think I'd want either of those guys. Who's got Sox ink? I don't have any Red Sox ink. I told everyone I was going to get a tattoo at 5,000 subs. I think I'm going to do it at 10,000. Don't forget about the Angels. Yeah. The Angels are an interesting team. I don't think they'll end up making the postseason, though. I mean, you just lost Taylor Ward. And then you got on top of that, too, where the Angels are position-wise, right? You're only a half game further back than the Yankees and Mariners, but you also now have to rely on Yankees, Mariners, Red Sox, Angels, and Blue Jays all falling behind you. So it's gonna be tough for the Angels to fly above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, right, to get there. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know. Fangraphs gives us. I'm so sick of the Fangraphs percentage, man. I don't even look at that. I'm so done with that. Ohtani's pitching tonight. Nice. You named your cat Koji? That's actually a good cat name. It's like a really good cat name. Chad, is it going to be loud if I just hold this? Is it going to be loud if I just do this? No, I don't think so. I think we're good. Let me know if there's any like feedback or anything. What time do you think I'll be on to tonight? I'll probably go till about 9:15. But the difference is, by the time you get to the postseason, you're not going to have openers, right? You're not going to have an opener in the postseason. You're going to have legitimate starting pieces. So I'm not super. It depends on what Sale and Houck and Whitlock look like in whatever role they come back in once they get back. What are the names on the back of my jerseys? This one's technically, I bought it for Xander. It's a 2. So now I guess it's Justin Turner. And then that one is Devers. Sounds good, Brady. Sorry, man. Yeah, I think Story, regardless of whether or not Story is like a insane all-star caliber offensive player, I think even if he gives you league average offense with a little bit of pop and he gives you good average or above average defense, he's going to make a big difference. Right? So my expectations aren't super high for Story, but my impact on what he looks like on the team will. Is there anyone interesting out there? Not really, Kenneth. Not really, honestly. Yeah, if we had what Story did last year healthy, we would be a playoff team, and that's what gets me excited. If he can have his offensive numbers that he had last year. What's going on with Mondesi? Will he be with the team anytime this year? I don't think he will, Tevin. I don't think he will. Unfortunately. Rafi won't steal the ground. I mean, that was Rafi's ball, right? That's a tough play at the end of the day. I don't know, Mar. You know what the deal with and why people hate Story is because they blame him for Xander leaving when it had nothing to do with Trevor Story the person. Makes you kind of nervous that he's questioning himself. He's not really questioning himself. He knows. He knows who's the best upcoming free agent. There's not really a ton of great hitting free agents. I would say the best upcoming free agent for the Red Sox is Yamamoto from Japan. But yeah, Mario, I don't know. I don't really get it either. I think, Levi, I think what I was disappointed in is I wanted the Red Sox to get a real kind of balls to the wall trade where you go and you trade a big prospect haul for a controllable young pitcher. I really thought this was going to be the deadline to do it because of what your team was going to look like next year and the position you were in this year. And so I was disappointed that they didn't do that. But I like the fact that they didn't sell anybody. I think keeping this team together is going to keep this team hopefully within playoff striking distance. And I think what ultimately it did was it ended up causing so much pressure to be on these injured players that I don't love either. So I don't know. I would rate this trade deadline a C minus right now. And I think it's all going to depend on what the injured players look like. If the injured players do well, then yeah, I think it worked out. If the injured players don't do well, then we got a problem. So we have to wait till like 2028. No, I think we'll be legit contenders. I think we'll be contending 2024. I think we'll be legit contenders 2025. And I think we'll be contenders for a little while after that. We definitely should not have sold. Certainly not. There's literally nothing pointing towards the Red Sox should have been sellers. Yeah, I agree, Thing. But you also can't tell. You can't tell a fan base that, hey, this is a 5-year plan, right? Coming off of a 2018 team that was incredible. Yeah, it's tough, Levi. It's tough at the deadline. Dave Dombrowski had a decent trade deadline. I didn't even see what he did. The Phillies didn't really do much. They got who? They got Michael Lorenzen. That's it, right? Gave up nothing? No, it was their number 7 prospect. So, well, it certainly wasn't nothing, no. But the problem is, Luis, you're not going empty-handed with Duvall and Paxton. If you compete for the rest of the year and you sneak into a wild card spot, that's not nothing. And on top of that, too, everyone's like, oh, you didn't do anything in the deadline last year. You didn't do anything in the deadline this year, right? What? The difference between not selling Xander, JD, and Eovaldi and losing 3 of your core pieces and staying over the luxury tax is so much different than, hey, we didn't sell Paxton, who's worth $4 million, and we didn't sell Duvall, who's worth $5 million, right? The differences between that and last year are ridiculous. So the thought process of, oh, this is the second year in a row, it's the same thing as, it's not. It's not the same thing as last year. You're in a much different spot than last year, because last year, what happened is you had that really great June, and then you limped into the deadline at July. Right? You limped into the deadline at July, and then you went downhill from there. This year, you're kind of doing the exact opposite. I don't think we'll re-sign Duvall now. We can't trade for anyone anymore, Prodigy. Right, exactly, AS. Last year's deadline was better. Last year's deadline, you ended up losing Eovaldi, Waka, Xander, and JD. You could have traded any one of those guys and not had to worry about the luxury tax this year. Instead, you didn't. You bought and sold. You didn't make the team any better. And on top of that, too, again, the Red Sox were limping into last year's deadline. With no real projections that, hey, we were going to come back and be able to compete at this year. Right? So there were more moves last year's deadline, but that doesn't mean it's a better deadline. People just want moves. They just want notifications. Sometimes no notifications is better than just random notifications. Good live stream, Corbin. I'm out, but I'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot, John. Last year's deadline was brutal. Prevent them from being traded last year? Nah, look, there's a lot of those no trade clauses, like with Xander and with JD. It was limited, right? And a lot of the teams that were calling for these guys were on their trade accepted list. It doesn't matter if those guys are fan favorites, because you're not playing to just please the fans. You're playing to win ball games and consistently win ball games. And last year you traded to try and stand pat, and I get it because where you were at the deadline. But looking back on it, right, not getting under the luxury tax is a reason you didn't go over this year. Who's my favorite players in the club right now? It's what's up, Blake? It's Casas, Duran, and Devers. He didn't want to play on the West Coast. It was pretty simple, Gritty. The 3 best, yeah. I've been a Casas. People hold me to this. I've been a Casas supporter since day one. I knew that kid was going to be good. Definitely not the equivalent, Luis. Definitely not. That is incredible, Dennis, for sure. How long do you expect Massa to slump? Not much longer. Yeah, Casas top 10 for first baseman. Top 10. From everyone saying he needs to be gone in AAA. Blah blah blah. Now he's top 10 first baseman. Yeah, Moss will be fine. He's starting to hit the ball hard. He honestly got robbed a lot in that Seattle Mariners series. Like, he probably should have been much better. But he kept lining out with like 100+ mile an hour line drives to the left fielder. So he ended up getting like no hits, but he was good. Yeah, I saw that, Frost. Why isn't Jake's your favorite player? Jake's is all right. I think he could be a serviceable. I appreciate it, Levi. Sorry, I appreciate you stopping by and asking the questions. I do. I think it's in the 260s, Gritty. Let me see. It is 255. I would say Alfaro was making me really mad, but he's not really on the team anymore, so it doesn't really count. Blyer's been making me super angry. Chang is so frustrating to watch at the plate. We did win Pavetta's trade. What are you talking about? Yeah. Wong's at bats, like he'll run into one once in a while, but they are so frustrating. Oh my God, they're so frustrating. So I would say my most frustrating person of the year has to be Chang. Oh. Yeah, we should have. Cora mid. No. Kluber and Mondesi frustrating. That's fair. Yeah, and I've said it before. I don't care about Connor Wong's. If he can be somewhat near league average, I think he's a successful major league catcher. All I really care about is behind the dish. If you can call games really well, if you can call a game really well, if you frame really well, if you throw out runners, I care way more about that than I do what you do at the plate. Do you think Corey will come back? I don't. They just said they were shutting down Corey for the year, actually. Didn't they? They said, no, they shut him down and said he might not return this year. Yeah, and I'm not saying Chang doesn't have value, but when we're talking about frustrating, when you have a runner on first and third, it's like, oh my God. Chang comes up, it's like, dude, we might as well just start the next inning because he's going to swing at 3 sliders outside of the zone. I would say Vasquez Leon. I already bet that the Red Sox make the playoffs. You're welcome, Mr. Bob Dylan. What are we laughing at? I think Devers at bats are frustrating because of how hard he swings and misses the pitches down the middle. Yeah, but Devers has a higher success rate, right? Watching Chang go up there, dude, and watching him go up there and just, sliders in the other batter's box on 3 pitches and then a high and inside fastball he's a mile late on. Oh, God. So it's so frustrating. You guys got me worked up. Does Wong's K rate upset you? I'd prefer it to be down, but again, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I love Arroyo. Yeah, but RC is having a great year offensively. Wasn't he an all-star? It's not really a great comparison. He's been, insane. Yeah, he's hitting 296 with a 116 WRC+. I love Arroyo. I think Arroyo's role is really, really crucial. I don't think he's a starting caliber player after what we've seen this year, but I think him as a utility guy is important because I think what you get from him utility wise is good. Okay. All right, Dennis, thanks for coming by, my friend. I wonder how much Verdugo's chain cost him. Probably like I don't know, close. I would say 100K. They drafted a catcher this year too. Yeah, I'm not worried about the catching position. Yeah, I mean, Doogie's chain is insane. It has to be a real expensive chain now. I agree with you, Tristan. Yeah, I think what Urias could possibly be would be absolutely fantastic. To have two right-handed sluggers in the middle of the lineup would be great. Right, and he's certainly been struggling this year, but yeah, if he could figure it out, it would be fantastic. How long do you see us keeping McGuire? I don't know, maybe another year. Brock Holt was way better than Arroyo, to be honest with you. Brock Holt had a couple of really good seasons, but I think overall they're pretty close in comparison. Yeah, they're pretty comparable. The only years that I would say Brock was a better player in terms of like much better player would be 2018 with the Red Sox. I think outside of that, Christian Rowe's been pretty comparable. Yeah, Christian Rowe's been pretty comparable his entire career. Yeah, Brock Holt making an All-Star team doesn't really sway my opinion one way or the other, to be honest with you. How long is Urias signed for? I don't know, a couple of. He's under arbitration for 2 more years, I think. If we're down in the ninth and 7, 8, 9 are due up, the game's over before that. Yeah, and so that's why it'll be nice to get Story back. Oh yeah, Rokai Sasaki is gonna be insane. What are your series predictions? Like, what are the Sox gonna do, and what can we expect in your opinion against the Blue Jays? I think he's a free agent in 2020. Let me see. Urias. 2026 is a free agent, so it's 2 years. I would say we're going to expect some pretty hard-fought battles here. I think both teams understand what's at stake, right? And I think both teams are kind of hurting right now. And I think, pitching-wise, both teams are going to have some good pitching. So I don't know. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest with you. I would say they should sweep or they should win a series, but every time I say that, they don't. So, I don't know. I really don't. I think it'll be a really, really hard fought battle, and it's gonna be really interesting to watch. Yeah, Bichette always crushes us, so it is nice having him out of the lineup. All right, chat. I think I'm gonna end it there. Predictions for the Blue Jays series. I'm gonna say the Red Sox. I'm not gonna predict an actual thing because every time I do that, the Red Sox do the exact opposite way I do. So you know what I'm gonna say? The Red Sox are gonna get swept against the Blue Jays. But either way, thank you everyone for hanging out this entire time. The fact that you guys stayed here, talked to me for almost, I don't know, 2.5 hours is absolutely incredible. When's the next Hot Stove? We are live on this channel every Wednesday, unless I say something in the general chat section. But either way, Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. To everyone who donated, gifted subs, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all so much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.